domain registration and unregistration through UCS Central. Prerequisites. Ensure that the UCS Manager domain that you want to register is not registered to another UCS Central system. A UCS Manager domain can only be registered to one UCS Central system at a time. Obtain the host name IPv4 or IPv6 address of the UCS Manager domain that you are registering. Ensure that your DNS server is configured properly for your method of registration. Ensure that the UCS Manager domain and the UCS Central system both use the same NTP server so that they are configured with the same time zone. If the time and date of the two systems are different, the registration may fail. Registering a UCS Manager domain to UCS Central from UCS Central. Previously, you could only register a UCS Manager domain to UCS Central from UCS Manager. Now you can register a UCS Manager domain from UCS Central. In UCS Central, click the System Tools icon and choose Domain Management. In the Domain Management page, click Register Domain. In the UCS Domain Hostname IP address field, enter the IPv4, IPv6, or hostname address for the UCS Manager domain that you want to register. Enter admin for the user. Enter the password for the UCS Manager domain. In the registration hostname IP address from the UCS Central field, choose the IPv4, IPv6, or hostname address for the UCS Central that supports the format you selected for the UCS Manager domain. The following combinations are supported. For this demonstration, we'll use the IPv4 address. Click Policy Resolution Control to set the policies to local or global. By default, all policies except for the Infrastructure and Catalog Firmware policy are set to global in UCS Central. The Infrastructure and Catalog Firmware policy is set to local because it could be disruptive if set to global. Click Register. In the Domain Management page, the domain registration status changes to In Progress. This means that the UCS Manager is sending the registration information to UCS Central. If everything matches, the UCS Manager system successfully registers with UCS Central. During registration, click Configuration Status to open a Domain Registration Configuration Status to view and monitor the status information. In the Domain Registration Configuration Status, click on a system stage to check the status of that stage. If the status doesn't change after a few minutes, click Refresh in the Domain Management page. Once registered, click on the registered domain to go to the domain page. After registration, UCS Central categorizes the UCS Manager domain as ungrouped. Unregistering a domain. To unregister a domain, in the Domain Management tab, select the domain. Click Unregister Domain. In a dialog box, click Unregister Domain. In the Confirmation dialog box, select Localize Global and click Unregister Domain again. Note that unregistering a domain is very disruptive, and it can aggressively affect all of the service profiles running servers. That's why you're asked to confirm the unregistration a second time. Click Refresh in the Domain Management page. The unregistered domain no longer displays. Note that it also disappears from the Domains page, which you access from the Browse Tables icon. This concludes domain registration and unregistration through UCS Central.